What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ready, Set, Recap, where we recap what's been going on. I'm Daniel, joined as always by my best friend, Skyler.
How you doing, everyone?
This week, in the news, the Stop Killing Games initiative has unmasked some strange clauses in certain EULAs. Ghost of Yotei had a state of play. Subnautica 2 has a strange situation unfolding. SAG-AFTRA has officially finished their strike for video game voice actors. James Gunn says no to Static Shock, and we're going to give you our full spoilers review for Superman. Before we get into all that, Skyler, what's been going on with you this week?
Well, the big one is what we're saving for the end. Obviously, we both saw Superman. But I also saw the new Jurassic World.
Right.
It's fine.
I've heard some pretty mixed things with it, where people are like, it's one of the best ones, but it's still not good. And I think that that's probably true.
Yeah, well, you kind of damning it with faint praise, being like, I think it's better than the last two, or maybe three. I don't know, but that doesn't mean much. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, dinosaurs and then big monsters that are like dinosaurs but not really dinosaurs, and it's fine.
Fair. Well, for me this week, the big thing is obviously Superman. And then just sort of getting prepared to go to All In tomorrow as we're filming this. So
Ooh,
I think
we're recording this on All In Eve.
On All Eve. I think last week I said that I had almost caught up watching AEW to get ready for it. I am now officially fully caught up. I mean, we're basically going to be leaving to go there in 12 hours from when we're recording this. So
yes. What's your favorite storyline going into this, and what's your most anticipated match?
I think for me it's the same thing. It's going to be Hangman Moxley. I think that for me is that's the big one.
I did one of my frequent guest appearances on our friend Abrar's podcast, the Brown Boy Wonders podcast, where we did AEW All In predictions.
Yeah.
And I think, everyone kind of almost across the board, we really need Hangman to win this. And I said to Abrar, I was like, can you imagine how deflated the room will be if Moxley and the Death Riders, they cheat to help him win? And that's just how we ended again. It can't happen. I mean, it could happen, but it just can't happen.
I mean, I don't think it will, but I also don't necessarily think it would kill the whole pay-per-view. There's so many ridiculous matches on that card.
The pay-per-view, it's so stacked. This is without a doubt, and not just biased because we're going to be there. It's without a doubt their biggest show in at least a very long time.
Yeah, probably since the first Wembley All In.
I think my most anticipated match is
the Costco guys.
Easy now. Hey, you just better make sure that we get there in time, because that's going to be a pre-show thing. No, Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. We get to, I mean, it's a match that's happened before. Yeah, sure, obviously.
Right.
But we get to see Omega Okada. What is it, 4, I think?
I think it's 5, because their record is 2-1-1.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because it's one tie. Oh, God, who won 2? I think Kenny won 2? Either way, one of them has won 2 matches. One of them has won 1. And then they tied in a time limit draw.
Well, maybe they'll tie again.
No, my prediction is going to be that whoever has the 1 gets to 2. Because I don't think this feud is over.
Yeah, makes sense. That could very much happen. I just think that's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I'm very excited for it.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely stacked. That's where I'm at. But anyway, we probably spent too much time on that. Let's get into the news.
Let's get into the news that's not wrestling news.
The news that's not wrestling news. So the first thing that we have is so there's this initiative going around called Stop Killing Games. That is, they're trying to basically petition different governments, I think namely the UK right now, to force companies to stop killing their games. Basically, it's basically the situation we talked about briefly of Anthem, how even though it's a single player game, you have to log into a server to play it. And so when those servers go down, next month, that game will just become unplayable no matter if you bought it physical or digital or whatever. And so what they're basically requesting is that not happen, that you make it so that games can still be played after the servers go down. But it's not even you would have to do it on your end. It's literally just make the game in such a way that even if your game does go down, it can be put up on a private server. You know what I mean? Like if I own the game, I should still be able to play it, even if it's me who's running the server. And a lot of game companies are like, no, we don't want to do it. We want our games to die. Anyway, it's a whole complaint right now. I'm very much on the stop killing games side of the argument.
Oh, definitely.
But
100%.
you'd be surprised some of the people who aren't, but we won't get into that. Um, the part of what their argument was is they found in a Ubisoft EULA that's actually existed for a long time, but no one reads them. That says, quote, upon termination for any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product and destroy all copies of the product in your possession. This is
Yeah.
when it says termination of any reason, it's talking about support for the game. So like server access, or even if they just decide that they're done working on it to some extent, they can order you to destroy any copies of your game. And the EULA counts for both digital and physical games. So if you like copied the game, like if you bought it on Steam or something and you copied it, then you would be legally required to destroy those, as well as Ubisoft apparently wants you to break your discs in half when they turn off servers or stop supporting those games,
I've
which is
never
insane.
heard anything more ridiculous than that.
Well, here's
That
something.
is. Oh, you're about to break the record. Here
I'm
we
about
go.
to break your record again. Here's the thing that I found out today about it is this has caused people to comb through other EULAs, and they found it somewhere else.
Oh,
They found it on Steam.
on Steam.
So Steam also has it for at least a lot of their games, where if you have made copies of the game, which you are legally allowed to do, you have to delete them if the game leaves Steam. So they say.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, is I'm not going to do that, first of all.
No.
This feels illegal, right? Of like, hey, if we decide to stop supporting the thing that you purchased, you have to destroy it yourself. You have to take a hammer to your disc. Like, what the fuck?
That is, it's.
That's next level. You don't own anything.
I don't even know what to say.
It's
I don't even know
insane.
what to say about
Yeah.
that. Like anything. We don't sell that anymore, so you are not allowed to have it. We know you bought it, but that doesn't mean anything in our country anymore.
Yeah.
In the world anymore. Doesn't mean anything.
This is the
so fuck
equivalent.
you, break
Yeah.
it. And if you don't break it, we will send Jeff Keighley to your house with a little paper shredder, and he will take all your game discs
Yeah.
and put them through there.
Well, Jeff Keighley would only sign up for it if Kojima wanted that to happen. But it's the equivalent of like if like Nissan stopped supporting the firmware updates for your like the screen in your car, and they were like, okay, well, you got to go crush your car into a cube. You'd be like, what the hell do you mean? I'm not going to do that. I can't afford a new car. Are you going to pay me for it? No. Then eat my balls. Yeah, there's not a ton to say about it, but I will say if you haven't signed the petition for Stop Killing Games, you can find their website, and I highly recommend you go and sign that because it's a very worthwhile initiative.
Sure.
Let's talk about Ghost of Yotei. So the Ghost of Yotei State of Play happened, yesterday, I guess, as we're recording this? And they announced a couple of things about it. Some of them are pretty interesting. Some of them I think are largely pointless. The log line is, if you liked Ghost of Tsushima, you're going to like this. And if you didn't, you probably won't, because it looks like it's pretty much the same game. Which is not a negative. I loved Ghost of Tsushima. What I want is another Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm perfectly happy with that being the case. Here's a couple of things that we learned, although some of them I think we already knew. Yotei takes place 300 years after Tsushima, so you would definitely not be seeing any returning characters unless there's some kind of like weird flashback or a ghost or something. You are playing a character called Atsu, who's voiced by Erika Ishii, and I love Erika Ishii. I think there was something weird with the sound mixing on this State of Play that made her voice sound like it was recorded in a tin can, and I'm hoping that that's not the case for the whole game. I think it was just this presentation, because we've heard her talk before in like different cutscenes and it didn't sound like that, so I don't know what's going on with this one.
Right.
And she is looking for revenge against the Yotei Six, which is a gang of people who all have different like names. Is a stupid way to say it, but they're like the spider and the oni and the kitsune, right? It's that sort of thing where like we don't know who they are and you have to find a bunch of clues to figure out who they are before you go and assassinate them.
Oni means demon.
It does, and kitsune means fox.
Yes.
There are certain places in the game where you can jump back and forth through time from when you were a child to current day. I don't know what the gameplay ramifications of that are going to be. I'm sure it's just like an exploration, like story sort of situation, but that's kind of neat. They announced that there's bounties that you can track down. There in the first game you could really only fight with a katana. In this one they've added spear, kusarigama, odachi, and dual swords. Odachi is just a big sword, and kusarigama is it's like a basically an axe in one hand, and then like a heavy ball that's attached by a chain to the end of the axe. It's one of the, it is what the Yu-Gi-Oh card game called kunai with chain.
Oh, okay.
Uh, there you go. It's not what that is, but that's what Yu-Gi-Oh called it.
Sure.
If you've ever heard Joey Wheeler say it with a bad Boston accent or whatever that was supposed to be.
Hey, that was a good accent.
Uh, there's a system called the Wolf Pack, unrelated to NWO. Basically, when you stop at a camp, like your own, you can set up a camp wherever to like save or whatever, and you can call these different people to it that are basically like, this is the guy who trains you how to do this, and this is the guy who can sell you weapons, and this is the, like those guys, and they're called the Wolf Pack, and they're part of your like team sort of, and it's just a thing where like instead of fast traveling to whatever town that they're in, they'll come to your camp, which I guess is interesting. For me, that's kind of a moot point. I don't think that really does anything either way, but sure, why not? They have brought back Kurosawa mode, which is just you can play the game in black and white. But they've also added 2 new modes of gameplay based on 2 other directors of Japanese work. There's the Takashi Miike mode. He did 13 Assassins, which makes it just have way more blood, and then the camera is like really, really close behind you when you're fighting.
That sounds like fun.
I don't usually like the camera super close, so I definitely won't be playing that. If there's any of these 3 modes that I'll be playing, and I don't know, I probably won't, because I probably just want to play like what the game is instead of one of the like bonus modes. But the one that has me most interested is Shinichiro Watanabe, who is the director of Samurai Champloo.
Oh, nice, nice.
From what they were describing, it's like you're just playing the game, but the soundtrack has been replaced with like lo-fi like Champloo music, and I'm like, all right, cool,
cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I'll do that because I want to hear the original soundtrack. They also made a big deal out of the soundtrack in this, where they were like, we hired like a real Japanese like orchestra where it's all like shamisen and like, you know, original Japanese instruments and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really interesting. I don't necessarily know if I want to change that to like lo-fi beats to kill samurai too. You know what I mean?
That's a second playthrough.
Yeah.
Beat.
But it is cool. I just don't know that I'll do it, at least not in the first playthrough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you have interest in Ghost of Yotei?
Yeah, I missed the boat on Tsushima.
Well, you still play
it. I would like to play them both, is my answer.
Yeah, they're basically just like, what if Assassin's Creed was better?
Sounds cool.
Yeah. This one, I think, this one I think feels especially Assassin's Creedy, because the whole thing is like you're tracking down these people to assassinate them, whereas the first one was just like, it wasn't like based around assassination. There was definitely assassination in it, but this one is like, it's weird that this and the Japanese Assassin's Creed game are going to come out in the same year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That brings us to the weird Subnautica 2 situation. This one is interesting. I didn't post it in the chat that we usually use for news because I want to get your reaction to it, because I think it's going to be a fun one.
I'm hearing this live. I've only been told it was weird.
Do you know about Subnautica?
I know about Subnautica.
It's this like indie survival game that takes place on a ocean world, so it's a lot of like diving and swimming and catching fish and shit like that.
I think I've given it a shot too. I played a little bit of it a while ago.
Yeah, I'm not a survival game person. Subnautica is one that did ridiculously well. The second one that isn't out yet is currently the second most wishlist game on Steam, because it is very, very sought after. People are very excited about it. Just as a heads up for where this story is going, it's a game that people very much desperately want and will do ridiculously well once it actually comes out. Okay. The company who made it, it's a studio called Unknown Worlds. Between publishing, like shortly I think after publishing the first game, was purchased by a publisher called Krafton. They're sort of a smaller one, and up until this story, they've been thought of as like one of the good ones, because they've also done a lot of like rescuing studios that were gonna get shut down. So like they bought Tango Gameworks when Microsoft was looking to get rid of them.
Up until this story.
Yeah. So when they bought Krafton, they made this big deal that everyone heard about, that if Subnautica 2 made a certain amount of money by the end of 2025, because it's supposed to come out this year, that they would pay out basically a combined bonus to all of the employees in the studio of like $250 million. And obviously like the heads of the studio would be getting a lot more than the like QA guys, but everyone was looking to get like a huge amount of money, like several $1,000s. Everybody who works there.
Okay, I have a guess as to what's about to be said.
They very recently, the heads of the studio who were there from the first game, they're the people who started the game, literally started this company like in their own garage. They
Right.
announced, they were like, the game's pretty much ready, like we're ready to put it out into beta and have people play it. And then basically as soon as they said that, Crafton fired the heads of the studio and delayed the game
Nice.
so that it cannot come out
Yeah.
before the cutoff where they would have to pay these people.
Yep, that's exactly where I thought this was gonna just
So
move the goalpost.
yes.
Just unobtainable.
And they
That's
and in their like big release or whatever that they were talking about, they were like, it has nothing to do with the thing, and everyone's like, it very fucking clearly has everything to do with the thing. Also, you fired the guys who started this company, and there's like, I think like it's a relatively small team, so probably everyone is like pretty close to that guy personally, like those two guys
you don't
personally. So it's like,
you
what are you
don't get
talking about?
to you don't get to show your balls like that. Just blatantly evilly do something to save yourself a little money, which you promised to give out, and then
Yeah,
be like, no, we're still good guys. We promise. No,
it was literally
get out of here.
that deal was like integral to why they even sold the studio to them in the first place. And they're like, what if we didn't do that? Anyway, so now the guy who got fired and a couple of the other heads of the studio, who I think might, some of them still work there, are now suing the shit out of Crafton, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
An ongoing story that I will be continuing to follow, but it
please
is
do
crazy.
sue them, sue them if you got them. That's bonkers.
This story comes to us, by the way, from Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg. He's one of the people who like really deep dives into these kind of things at studios. So he also does good work, even though he has had me blocked on Twitter since I was like in 7th grade.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How?
He was saying some stuff about whatever the most recent Smash Brothers game was at the time. Basically, he was saying that it was terrible and he hated it, and everyone was giving
Yeah.
him like backlash for it. And I was like, come on, man, you can't be surprised that people are giving you backlash. Like, it's a Smash game. Like, you knew when you posted this that people were going to give you shit. And then he blocked me, and I was literally in middle school. So,
7th grade. So that would have been Brawl on the Wii. You had a Twitter back in 7th grade.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think it was 7th grade. It was definitely middle
Possible?
school, but I guess it could have been 8th grade. I don't really remember.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to the guy who has Daniel blocked.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's just also very block happy on
Okay.
Twitter. If you
No,
interact with him, 50-50, he will block you.
that's respectable. I respect that.
I would if I wasn't one of them.
I mean,
What a
maybe
butthole. Eat my
maybe
butt,
like
Jason Schreier. Keep doing the good
maybe
work, you jerk.
yeah, come on, guy. Maybe like if it's just a kid that points out a like an honest to goodness point. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you knew this was gonna. Maybe that's what the mute button is for. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have
Also,
to. You
like,
don't
I
have to.
think all of my other posts at that time would have been like, wow, this algebra test is hard. And it's like, okay, if you looked at it, you would have known, like, this is a child. But whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Shout out.
Well, I do
Good
care, but
stuff.
not that much.
Good stuff. We'll get him unblocked eventually.
Well, I won't. No. At this point, I would assume he's just stopped using Twitter, which is also respectable.
Oh, that means that you can get in on the ground floor with his blue sky.
You know, I haven't actually checked to see if he's on Blue Sky, but he might be.
I don't know.
Also follow me on Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee.
Yeah, do that.
The SAG. So SAG, you're SAG. How's SAG?
Yes, I am actually part of SAG. That is true.
How's it sagging? Did you hear anything about this voice actor strike?
Yeah.
Like while it was
So
ongoing?
yes. So when what was it? 2 years ago now?
It's been
The
ongoing
Screen
for a
Actors.
while. Yeah.
It was okay. Yeah, it was at the tail end of 2023 is when the original screen like the SAG after strike started, where it was like we want better pay, we want we were very against AI was a big part of it.
Hmm.
When it came to performances and writing and all that kind of stuff. There's a writer's strike as well. I voted yes for that. I got a little thing in the mail that was like, "You want to strike?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to strike. Hell yeah!"
Even though you weren't working at the time.
Especially since I'm not active and it doesn't really.
Yeah.
But no, like I know that there were a handful of people, your typical scabs, Should I name names? No, you know who they are. There's scabs out there
Looking at
that
you,
were like,
Shazam.
yeah, there were Shazamming scabs out there that were like, this strike is stupid because I don't get to do stuff. Like, yeah, have a little solidarity with your craft, you fuckhead. But the point is, because of that, we reached some grounds that were better than what we were dealing with. I say we, they, just because I got to vote doesn't really get me in the doors of the party.
Right.
I'm not doing anything. But yeah, SAG went on strike, and then very shortly after, there was another thing going around of specifically voice actors pertaining to video games were looking to strike because even more so than like film and TV, like AI can directly affect them because they can just like copy vocal patterns or like use AI to just like recreate 3D models of people, real people, all this kinds of stuff. And they were like, "Hey, this like they're just gonna digitally copy me and then never pay me again, and that's bad. So we should strike." So I didn't vote for that one. I don't even think I got a ballot for that one, or if I maybe it was like go online, and then I just missed the boat. They went on strike, and now we have results of that strike, which
Yeah.
seem really
Which,
good.
to be clear, the voice actors had gone back to work a while ago when they like entered negotiations. They haven't been in like
Right.
actively striking this whole time, but
Yes.
today or yesterday, whatever it was, the negotiation finished and they announced like what they had quote like won, I guess you would say. But yeah, do you want to read what those are?
Yeah. So after striking for this is from the New York Times. After striking from for nearly 11 months, actors approved a new contract with major video game studios that addressed concerns about the use of artificial intelligence to create digital replicas. The agreement with SAG-AFTRA requires the companies behind some of the world's most popular games, including Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, Apex Legends, to obtain the written consent of performers to create visual or vocal replicas.
Mm,
Studios must also pay performers for the use of replicas at a rate comparable to in-person work.
get them,
I think that's as
get them.
fair as you can get.
Yeah. One of the other things that was in there, I don't know if it says that it says it specifically on the one you're looking at, but it said like you can't use their voice work for AI modeling without their written consent,
Yeah.
and if they are allowed to revoke consent at any time.
Oh, revoke consent. That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like very much a thing where if Jennifer Hale, famous voice actor known for video games and such, who is has a quote in this article that I can read in a second, if
Nice.
she signs her signs the contract that says, "Yeah, you can use my vocal likeness to do some lines, whatever, just pay me." And they're like, "Cool." And then they have Jennifer Hale's voice saying, "I love this political party." Then she can go, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I take it back.
What if I hate you?
Yeah, Jennifer Hale said, I feel incredibly relieved. I feel more confident that the work I do will not be abused or misused. And
That's
that's what
good.
it's all about. Safety in professionalism in your workplace.
Yeah. The only way to stop major corporations from making you a victim is by catching them in litigation, and this is how you do
Hmm.
that. So
Hmm.
this is important, and it's a big win. I think also as part of this they were getting just like generally speaking like wage increases, which is nice.
Good for
Shout out to
them.
the video game voice actors and SAG-AFTRA. They've won a lot with their sweeping strikes across like the whole board from acting and writing and all of that recently. And
Yeah.
frankly, I hope they do it again at some point because you got to keep these companies in check, or they're gonna keep taking more and more. And speaking of stories that you know more about than me,
Ooh.
James Gunn has said no to Static Shock. No static,
Right.
no shock.
Well, he said no in a way that was very I wish I could but I can't
Mm.
type deal. So he in an interview which I think that we kind of somewhat referenced either last week or the week before. It's the same little interview where he says that he wants to use Nubia.
Oh,
He's like
right. I didn't
keep
know
your
this was
eye
the
out
one.
for Nubia because you might be happy there. That same interview he said he was asked about Static Shock. And he basically said there are complications due to the rights that means that we can't use Static Shock anytime soon. And it's probably something that Warner Brothers / DC don't want to invest the time to untangle that knot. So
Hmm.
Static Shock is not originally a DC character. He's a Milestone character, and Milestone never gave up their character rights to DC, even though DC's been
Right.
publishing stuff for a long time.
Yeah, they've continued to publish the Milestone characters, I think, this entire time.
Yeah.
Milestone being a historically like black run superhero comic book thing.
Mhm.
It was created like ages ago. Um,
Yeah.
and Static Shock is really the big one that came out of it because like every other character who came out of it, I don't think Icon was Milestone. He might have been like Icon and Rocket. That might be like the second biggest. But I also know there's like Hardware was in there and like the Blood Syndicate and like nothing's happened with those characters in ages. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But Static Shock is like definitely the biggest one because the cartoon made him hugely popular for just
Yeah,
like our
that's
entire
definitely
generation.
why. Exactly, exactly. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Um, so
But
it is
yeah,
kind
and
of a
people.
bummer. I most likely, if they really want to make a Static Shock thing, which I'm sure if someone pitches it, they'll figure it out. Most likely it would just be like whoever does still own those rights, just give them some money. Like that's what it's going to come down to because it always
You would
does.
you would think so. We're in such a weird era now with people like David Zaslav, who I could very much see, Warner Brothers execs saying like, we'd have to pay how many people? More trouble than it's worth. Just don't make it.
I
Just make a
mean,
different one.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's like a million DC characters that have never gotten a movie that they could do
Yeah,
instead.
yeah.
Um, so it's not like I would love to see a Static Shock movie, but like there's so many other characters that I also want to see that I think it's going to be a
That's
while
true.
before I feel like
I
put out not getting one.
I saw a similar sentiment as well, just looking into the story of like there were a couple comments being like, "Listen, I love Static Shock, but there are other black heroes that are
Yeah,
there. Just use them."
make Cyborg, make a Cyborg movie. We were teased that
Because
like forever ago, and it never ended up
oh,
happening.
hashtag Cyborg 2020.
Was that supposed to be in 2020?
Yeah.
That actor got screwed.
Oh yeah, big time. But it's okay because he got to be in one of the Rebel Moon movies. He was only in one, Daniel. He wasn't even in the second one.
I feel like that's better than being in both, frankly.
I mean, maybe they got paid, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
but how well did they get paid? It was a Netflix deal.
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I hope that they figure it out. I'm glad that he's talking about it because I feel like now that people know that that's the case, like
Yeah.
it opens up that conversation. I think that that's important. Uh,
Whether you like James Gunn as a creative or as a businessman or whatever aspect of it that whatever hat he has to wear today, you have to appreciate how he's always been transparent.
for sure. Yeah.
Anytime someone asks a blatant question like, "Are you going to put this guy in the movie?" and he's like, "No."
Are you gonna kiss
The
my mom?
rumor spreading that this
Yes.
guy is going to be in this movie. No. Like he will just flat out say, like, don't get your hopes up. That's not happening. And
Yeah.
you gotta love that.
Yeah. I respect it for sure. But yeah, speaking of whether or not people liked James Gunn, do you want to get into our Superman review? I figure we
I
can talk a
do.
little bit at the top of like
Yes.
not spoilers and then just make it very clear when we're going into spoilers. So
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't worry just yet, but we are going to talk spoilers in the future, so get ready to hit mute or whatever. Uh, but we'll give you a warning when that's going to happen. Skylar, we saw this together.
We did.
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie as a
Hmm.
spoiler, I guess, for my review on it. I haven't like decided really a number on it. I think I'm hovering somewhere in the eights. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's like. I think it's great. I don't think it's like amazing and groundbreaking and like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I'm not like mad about that. I actually walked out of this movie extremely happy and just
Yeah.
like was thinking about it basically all night and just like smiling and being happy about it.
Hmm.
Um, it's definitely got problems, and we're definitely going to talk about those problems. But
Yeah.
I love this movie, even though I don't think it's amazing. But where are you at with it?
I would also say I love this movie.
Yeah,
It's really good. I think as soon as I walked out of the theater, I was asked what I thought.
right.
And what I said was,
I don't know, man.
no, 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 no. I said, I like this movie a lot. I don't know if I liked it as much as I wanted to. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
that's
sure.
that's okay. It's, maybe like you couldn't help but like set the bar really high.
Hmm.
But like it's a great movie. It's a great Superman movie. I really do believe that.
Yeah. Still without spoilers, some of the things that I was concerned about, basically everything I was concerned about going into it,
Yeah.
the vast majority of those were sort of unfounded. Like I was worried about Crypto being annoying, and there was like one part with Crypto that I was annoyed by, but for the most part, I think he's fine. He's actually like he's super cute. Like I enjoy it overall. I think he's a positive add to the movie. There's just like one or two scenes that we'll talk about that I wasn't super happy with.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
feel
know,
overwhelmed by throwing in like a million characters. There was a lot of them, and I wish some of them got more screen time. But
hmm
none of them I don't think were like done dirty.
hmm
If that makes sense. And those were like two of my
there,
biggest concerns. So I'm okay with it.
there's one character in particular that we'll talk about it in spoilers. Their existence in the movie is not a spoiler. They're very much advertised, but
Yeah.
I do have thoughts
Yeah.
about them. Yeah, as far as Crypto, without going too much into it, I do think my initial thought walking out of it was like, I think there is too much Crypto. But then I was like, well,
Yeah,
no, wait a
maybe.
minute. We've never had Crypto.
True.
So
Also true.
like it's perfectly, it's fine. Somewhere in the line of like, I think it's just a dash too much. When you put a lot of ingredient in, you're like, ooh, I can really taste that. There's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
Crypto in
Well,
this movie.
and it's a strong ingredient. Like he's not
Yes,
just like in the back. No scene that he's in is he just like in the background. Like he is a when he is there, he is there.
yeah.
He is loud and in charge.
He I mean,
He's not salt, he is cayenne.
everyone loves a little dog.
Yeah, and your
This
little
this
dogs too.
this dog is just really raucous is all.
Um, I will say, I think this is unsurprising also for knowing James Gunn. I think the place in which this movie really shines is with its like relationships between people. I think that
Yeah.
the strongest one by far is Lois and Clark. I think that
hmm
relationship is um maybe my certainly my favorite romantic relationship in comic book movies, at least for a really long time. Because
Yeah.
frankly, MCU doesn't give us a ton of romance.
Well, let's get this out of the way right now.
Yeah.
This is the best Lois Lane we've ever had in a movie.
Oh, easily, easily.
Yeah.
Rachel
I mean,
Brosnahan might be my favorite character in this movie.
I love Margot Kidder,
Yeah,
but she Rachel
and Erica Durance.
Brosnahan kills it. Yes, and we stand Erica Durance in this house. But yeah, no, Rachel Brosnahan absolutely kills, and we knew that from day one too. The second
We
we saw like not even just the casting, but like we saw her in like the purple shirt set photo. We're like, okay,
yeah,
she's
there she
got it.
is. That's the girl. That's perfect,
Um,
actually.
I also think Nicholas Hoult killed it as Lex Luthor.
I do too. I think that the writing for some of his dialogue felt very stilted. His acting of it was great. I think he's a great actor. I
Yeah,
think one of my biggest issues with this movie, holding it back to an 8 instead of like a 9 or a 10, is that
yeah,
how much of this movie is people just saying what's happening. Like it feels like there's not a ton of subtext. It's a lot of people just like saying this is my motivation and this is why I'm doing this and this is how I feel.
mm-hmm.
Which for some of them
I
I
can
think
see
makes a
that.
lot of sense. When Superman is talking like that, you're like, yeah, well that's who Superman is. But then other people like Lex Luthor, it feels a little weirder. Like I think that there's certain other characters where we should have done a lot more showing instead of telling.
Mm, I can see that.
But I don't think it was, again, I don't think it was bad. I was just like, there's a lot of people being like, and now I'm gonna do this, and then they do it. And in some cases, they'd be like, this is why I'm the way I am, and I was like, we already know that. Like you told us that, you showed us that like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Like we already knew that. You didn't say that. Before we get into spoilers, I would also just say I think this is a triumph. I think that this is definitely a movie that everyone, if you're into comic book movies at least, you should definitely see. I think it's a movie that will make a lot of people happy, and I highly recommend it. But I do really want to talk about the spoilers.
yeah. We'll get into spoilers. I think James Gunn recently said in a different interview where he was like, I'm kind of known for making superhero movies, but you know, Guardians, they're like a space adventure team. The Suicide Squad, they're a bunch of villains or
Yeah,
like anti-heroes or whatever. And then, even his original movie, Super, with Rainn Wilson. He was like, "That's just a crazy guy that hits people with a wrench. Like he's not a hero, really."
just some jackass.
But like he said, like Superman is like really the way he sees it, my first superhero movie, and I can see. Last thing I'll say before we get into spoilers is this is undoubtedly a James Gunn movie.
It is the most James Gunn movie.
Yeah, this is. It's not.
In
It's
some
not
ways
hidden.
positive and in some ways negative, but
It's not watered. It's not watered down. If you like James Gunn, you'll have a good time. If you went to your showing wearing a Restore the Snyderverse shirt, you already knew what rating you were going to give this
one wasn't for you.
So it wasn't for you. Yeah, let's get into. I'll give my rating first before we get into the spoilers of it.
I'll just say 8, but I'm just not strong on that number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do the 8 out of 10. I go by the Letterboxd out of 5 stars rating.
Well, that'd be what, a 4?
Yeah, it works out to the same exact thing. It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
Oh, okay. So we pretty much agree. All right, that's cool.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk spoilers now. So if you don't want spoilers, then make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can come back here after you've seen it and then leave a comment saying, I'll be right back. I got to go see Superman. And then when you come back, edit underneath that what you thought of Superman.
Please let us know if you're gone. And official recommendation, go see Superman. I think you'll have a fun time.
Oh, it's a very fun movie. But yeah, spoilers are starting now. Get out of here if you don't want them. Skyler, go.
Are they gone?
You better be gone.
All right.
I don't see you there.
This Lex Luthor is like frothing at the mouth crazy.
He's a little crazy. Yeah, in a way that I don't... I kind of go back and forth on. I think... Because he has sort of two angles, right? There's the... Like... I don't know. I think his planning is great. I think that they really nail the, like, he is smarter than everyone. He's doing all of these things like 10 steps ahead. I think they do that really well. I think them setting up the separation between we have this problem in Metropolis and we have this problem over in Jarinpur, Barovia, whatever the hell. Baravia?
Baravia.
Whatever that is. Setting those two things on the other side of the world to so he has to sort of like bounce back and forth or whatever. I think that that's really intelligent. I think that makes a lot of sense as a thing that Lex Luthor would do. My really only negatives are there's a lot of him just like monologuing about like exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I see it. Like, I see you. And then also it's like, so like, you didn't have to tell me that, but then also it's like, I think there are two things about his character specifically that I don't like, and they're not about, well, maybe they're not about his character. They're more about just like things he did. Is I don't like him calling out bingo numbers to make Ultraman punch him. I understand the purpose of that is that's supposed to make it so that you're knowing that like it's really quote unquote Lex Luthor throwing those punches. Like he is the one who is thinking, like he is out thinking Superman, and he knows all of the moves and he knows what he's going to do in advance. And I get that. But maybe you just have like one scene at the beginning where he's saying those things and not every single fight scene we're hearing him call out bingo numbers constantly. I think that was a bit much for me.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I mean, not like you're right to have your preference, but I was thinking specifically of the scene where he's just like yelling A1 over again and having
I think that was part of it that worked.
Right hook.
Yeah.
I like that part a lot.
I think that part worked, and I think the like early part worked. I think everything in the middle, because if they had just bookended it like that, I think I would have been maybe felt different about it. I just think that they kind of like overplayed that bit, you know. That's all. And then the other thing that I didn't like that he did is the monkey farm. I think that's stupid. That's way too on the nose. Like I get it, I understand. But that's stupid. That's so dumb.
I will agree with you on that one. This movie does not hold back its comic bookiness. It does not play by like your grounded rules. There's no so he's got monkeys that type like flame posts about Superman on social medias.
I mean, mostly Twitter, one would assume.
Yeah, one would assume.
Fake Twitter, whatever that's called in the DC universe.
It is one of those things where like I don't know, in real life we spend so much time being like, oh, people are so shitty on Twitter, they're just whatever. And it's just a direct shot at there are some direct comparable shots towards certain real life events, real life conflicts, and real life political parties,
Yeah.
I guess. Not
This
really political parties, but definitely the monkeys typing stuff on Twitter
yeah.
is very much like, you know what that is. So
This does feel very much like a movie of the time. Like it reflects what's happening right now, I think, very, very strongly.
yeah.
And there's an article that came out. I don't know where it was from. I wish I had like remembered it, but it said Superman is not trying to be political. We just have real world supervillains now. And I sort of agree and disagree with that because
Yeah.
I don't think it's like outwardly trying to be political, but the things
No.
that they cover in this are like so immediately relevant to what's happening right now that
Yeah.
it's like no, this is a political movie. Like there are political things happening in this.
Yeah. I mean, the premise of one country invading a neighboring country and the leader yelling "kill them all,"
Yeah,
that is
it's
blatant.
it's Israel
That is
Palestine. You
political.
could also argue that it's Russia Ukraine, but it does feel more Israel Palestine.
Definitely. Yeah,
It's unfortunate that
it
there's two different real world events it could have
could be
been.
read as either. That's true. Um, I my mind went to Israel Palestine for sure.
Yeah, and then there's also like you know the aspects of like manipulating the news cycle and like
Mhm.
there's a character in it who is basically just Tucker Carlson. Like there are some things in it where you're like, this is very much like so much about this movie. I think it's sort of the same thing as like when the far right people realized that like Homelander was making fun of them, but this just like
Oh,
wears
yeah.
it directly on its chest. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like, hey guys, like I'm sorry, but if you're pro murdering what like racial cleansing, if you're pro being shitty to immigrants, if you're pro lying to the people of your country to try and pretend that something is better than it is, then you know, hey man, you might not be a great guy. Maybe
That's
look
the
at yourself in
funniest
the mirror there, guy.
that's the funniest thing to me right now. And like it's opening weekend, so give it time. They will realize.
Yeah.
But like the initial thing was they're like, "Oh no, Superman is pro-immigrant."
Right. Which like
And
what do you mean?
like
Clearly no
well
one watched that
first
episode of Smallville.
first of all, yes. But then it's just like, "Oh, so they haven't even picked up on like they're not even calling us, I don't even want to say,
Yeah.
anti-Semitic for being against Zionism."
Right. Which
But
like
they will.
I
They
think
will. They'll get there.
I've always thought that that's ridiculous that people are like, "Oh, you don't think Israel should be wiping Gaza off the map? Then you hate Jews." And it's like, "No, that's not what that means."
I think
Like
there's a couple steps between
you're
those two conclusions there, fella.
you're being like you're jumping so hard to conclusions. That's crazy. That's crazy you're doing that.
Oh my.
Um but yeah, so this is a very whether intentional or not, it feels like a very political movie. But I feel like I mean, obviously, I'm not our audience that would have been upset about it, but I think it falls on the correct side of history on the things that it's talking about. I think
Gonna have to agree
I
with
think it's
that
an
as well.
important conversation to have, and I also think that it is a conversation that like Superman should be the one having. Like he is the Boy Scout. He is the he would him being the character who is talking about the Israel Palestine thing, if that is intentionally what they were doing or not, it makes so much sense because like Superman was created specifically by two Jewish writers as a way
Yeah.
to flip the idea of the Nazi Ubermensch. Like
Hmm.
it was we're going to make the super soldier that they have dreamed of, and we're going to have
Hmm.
him punch them. It's basically the
Hmm.
same thing as Captain America, but just like
Hmm.
ramped all the way up. This is a inherently Superman story. Like
Yeah.
this is not. It reflects modern times in a way that is really unfortunate because unfortunately, hey, they're back, but
There's some shit happening. That's for sure.
but I feel like this is a story that you would tell about Superman at any time because
Yeah.
this is what the character of Superman is.
definitely not the first time Superman's gotten political or involved in
No, one of
politics in
the
that manner.
there's a hugely famous Superman comic called Superman Smashes the Klan. Like,
And he was right to
and he
do
was
so.
right to do it.
All right, so to break away from the politics and to get into
Right.
something, I'm gonna say something dangerous here.
Okay.
Get ready to fucking get me.
Okay.
Obviously not across the board because there's lots of plot differences and things that happen, but like in certain points of this movie,
Right.
is this a good version of Quest for Peace?
Of Quest for Peace.
Superman 4, A Quest for Peace.
I I mean, yeah, I guess there's certain similarities. Like there's
Because in that,
Ultraman is sort of a you could say
he's
Ultraman is Nuclear Man. You could say that. And
yeah.
there is the
Superman got
foreign
involved and
affairs
he
type
stopped a
deal.
war. So same as him
Yeah.
throwing all the nukes into the sun.
I also think it has some similarities to BVS a little bit, I guess, because it is, sort of him getting, like in BVS, it's him getting framed for all these murders, and in this one, it's him getting framed as like being an Ultramite, basically.
Yeah, which,
Um,
as far as we know right now, that's just true.
yeah, I think that that is true, which I will say I wish it wasn't. I think, I don't super care either way. Jor-El and Lar-El are not, Lar-El? Is that her name? Lara?
Lara L.
Something like that. They're not characters where I'm like, oh my god, like you have to get these two characters right, because their whole thing is that they died 5,000 years ago. Like I don't
Yeah,
really give a shit unless you're gonna
yeah.
do like, if this was the TV show Krypton and they were gonna be like major characters, I assume in that show, then like yeah,
Mhm.
I would want them to be different than that. And it does also open some questions about Supergirl, which we'll discuss in a second here. But yeah, so basically, there's a thing in the movie where he has a message from his Kryptonian parents that's like, "We sent you to Earth, and you are the love of our life," blah blah blah. And then it's damaged, and so the second half of it or whatever, he's never been able to hear, and so he's always
And,
assumed
and he just assumed because he's a good
because
guy.
he's a good person, he was raised by good people. He just assumed that they were like, you're gonna have a lot of power here. You should use it to protect these people and make the world a better place. At one point, the engineer goes in and she is able to go in and sort of like download this file and change it, or not change it, but like fix it. And which on one hand, I'm like, why is she able to do that and not the Superman robots? But whatever. But she's able to get the second half, and the second half is like, you should rule this planet. You should take a harem of wives. You should restart the Kryptonian bloodline on Earth. And it's like, oh, that you're evil. You're evil people. Okay, cool. That's good to know. That's good to know. And now I don't have to feel as bad about your planet being dead, I guess.
Yeah, I
And they
guess.
make it very clear in the movie that it's not doctored.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Terrific backs it up. He's like,
Hey,
no, this is definitely real.
part, or was that a Tucker Carlson thing?
It was both. When Lex was revealing it on not Tucker Carlson, he was like, we had it fact checked through all these people and blah blah blah. Like 30 tech guys looked at it and 40
Yeah.
linguists looked at it, and they're 100% sure that that's the case. Which is crazy because like, how the fuck are Earth linguists being able to figure out Kryptonian?
Well, we don't know what they're working with in this
I guess that's
world. We
fair.
got
Yeah, they
guys
might be
flying
aliens.
around in robot suits, and we've got
Yeah,
Lex just had a kaiju in his
that's
pocket.
true. He did. But then later somebody asks, I forget who. It might have been Lois talking to Mr. Terrific. I don't remember. But at one point he's like, no, like I know the people who checked it and they've talked to me about it, and like no, they wouldn't lie about that. Like this is real.
Right, I think Mr. Terrific said, yeah.
He does say something like that. So it is definitely real. And I wish they
No, yeah,
hadn't
that's
done that, but
but
it
I
not
don't remember the Kryptonians saying the harem part. That just kind of like came out of nowhere, I thought,
he
like
said
in
something
the
they said something about like take a lot of wives and do like restart the
mm,
Kryptonian bloodline. They said that they didn't use the word harem. That was a Tucker Carlson thing. Um and then it was the weird like not Netanyahu guy who was like, I hear he loves Jaraburian women, and he was like, all right, buddy.
You know what's really funny about that being so like blatantly like a mirror of what's happening in real life is the fact that Hawk Girl just drops him from a
Just
high height and kills
kills
him.
his ass. And he
Yeah.
deserves it too. Netanyahu in the real world has been indicted on war crimes, so like as soon as Trump stops backing him, would probably execute his ass too. But what I was gonna say is I wish they hadn't said that that was real. Not because I like want to protect the sanctity of these two Kryptonian characters. I really don't care. I honestly think that the idea of him being sent to destroy Earth or whatever the fuck is like, that's not a unique take. I'm pretty sure that's what it was also in Smallville for a little while. So like
Destroy. It was more like
like rule
lead by
conquer.
conquering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like that's not like a unique take. It's basically the plot of Invincible also. So I don't really care about that. I think that's fine because obviously Superman's not going to do it. He's Clark Kent. He's Superman. But I think that if the engineer had edited it or like been able to
Yeah.
change it with her superpowers, I feel like that would have given her more, I don't know, autonomy, more like use case in the movie. Whereas in the movie,
Sure.
she's just like a cool guy who fights. Like she doesn't really do much other than I guess that she downloads the thing, so that's something. But like otherwise,
Yeah.
she feels like of the hero slash villain, like comic book characters that you would be excited to see in this, she does feel like the one that gets
Well,
the least to do
she's the
of
character
impact.
that I was referring to earlier when I was like, what are we doing here? Because she is, I guess, just here because she's gonna be part of the Authority.
Well, yeah, but that project is like potentially canceled anyway.
Oh, I didn't see that. I
Yeah,
just looked that up the other day,
yeah.
or
There's
within the
like
last.
it's not officially canceled, I don't think, but there is a lot of background rumbling of like they don't know what this is going to be and they haven't made a lot of progress with it.
They did make note to mention, like, when she gets real beat up, defeated by Superman.
Yeah,
They're like, she's unconscious, but definitely still
she's
alive.
definitely not dead.
Yeah.
I honestly,
So
I think that there's a combination of like they will probably use her again later, but also like they just didn't want Superman to have killed her.
yeah, well, definitely, of course, that.
Yeah,
But it's just like look at the audience and be like, we'll use her. She's coming back. That's I assumed it was for the Authority, but if that doesn't happen,
yeah,
then I don't know. I can see them reworking the Authority to be in something else, but again, that's not something I'm looking the most forward to, and I'm not a super fan
no,
of that.
yeah. I mean, the Authority is not like a series that I think most people really care about. I would hazard to guess that the majority of people, even people who read DC Comics, have not read anything about the Authority. So I'm indifferent
I,
to it.
I won't take the jump and put that label on people, but I also won't disagree with you.
But yeah, so I do like her in this. I think the actress does a perfectly fine job. I don't think she's bad, but I do think it's like, well, she didn't really do much. Like I could have taken her, leaving her being, left her being in this
Mhm.
movie, like kind of whatever. How do you feel about the Justice Gang? Because I'm sort of mixed on them. I think Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is perfect. No notes,
Yes.
zero notes. I
Yeah.
think he's perfect.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific, I think I am second most warm on. I like him quite a bit. I think he gets the most to do in the movie, and I think the
I
stuff that
think
he
I
does is cool.
I think I know
Um,
exactly where you're going with this.
there's a couple parts where I wish he had gotten more involved. I wish that when they went to the like negative zone, whatever the fuck, like sub prison thing, I wish that he hadn't just sat in the tube and waited. I wish he had gotten out there and done stuff. I do think the chair kind of looks stupid. I think that's a weird thing to throw in there. I also like historically have not seen him floating around in a weird chair like that. So it's I don't that's I'm sure it's a comic book thing because James Gunn is like very like this is a shit thing that happened in the comic books kind of
Yeah,
guy.
he does
But
now.
I do think it looks kind of stupid. I think he's very funny. I wish he had had more like emotional range because I know that Eddie Gathegi is an amazing actor. Like if you haven't watched Princess of the Row, he should have won a fucking Oscar for that. Like he is so good.
Well,
And in this, he is just kind of like gruff, tough guy who doesn't afraid of nothing or whatever.
well, isn't
Um,
he? I won't pretend to be the most familiar with Mr. Terrific. I do know of him.
yeah,
Isn't he supposed to be like so smart that he's not completely emotionless? He's not a Vulcan, but he's just like so smart that he's just got like a massive poker face the whole time.
I don't know about the poker face. He is super smart. He is sort of if you took Batman and Luke Cage and stuck them together. You know what I mean? Because he
Yeah,
is he
okay.
is very much that like he's not invincible. He can't take the bullets or whatever.
Yeah.
But he does have he has like what is it like 14 doctorates or some shit. Like he's a genius. He knows like
Yeah.
14 different kinds of martial arts, which we didn't really even see in this. He mostly fought by just like throwing pretty standard punches and throwing his balls around. And so like I don't know that we did. I think he was done very well, and I liked all the scenes he was in. I just feel like I should have liked them more, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
I
I get
enjoyed
you.
him. I enjoyed
I
him, and
think
I
I
want to see more of him. But
I think I came
I have
away
notes.
with I really liked Mr. Terrific in this, and I think I know what you're saying, but he didn't go like through the portal and actually like help find Superman. He just kind of sent his balls around.
Yeah,
I guess that was just so that Metamorpho could get something to do.
that's fair. Yeah,
And but like I do think that that's balanced out by like the scene of him fighting all the guys in the camp to get to the portal.
which was
I
really
think was
cool.
great. That was
Yeah,
your that's that's where James Gunn was like, no, fuck you. I'll put in one needle
I
drop.
am gonna put in a needle drop actually, but just this one,
Yeah,
and it was a song that I didn't really
and it was
recognize.
and it was good.
Yeah, oh, it was very good.
And yeah, I agree with you on Guy Gardner. Obviously, love Nathan Fillion. Big fan of him. I think him as Guy was pretty great in
It
this.
was spot on.
Yeah.
It is the perfect Guy Gardner for me, I think.
And then when we get to Hawk Girl, were you gonna say she screams way too much?
I just yes, but I also think that she got like dick ass shit to do in this. Like she does kill the Baravian guy, and that's
Yeah.
something. Like that's cool. That is of impact. But that's like a regime change war, and that's always not a great idea. So like she might have actually done more damage than good in that case.
Maybe.
But I also just like I don't think her fighting looked particularly cool. The screaming was too much. Her costume was like fine but not great. She didn't really get any scenes where I was like, "Oh, this is a good character. I'm enjoying her," or like even funny jokes. You know,
Yeah, I
she felt the
think
most underused in like a really disappointing way.
going to the costume, I do think that out of the Justice Gang, Maxwell Lord leather jackets, she's the one that definitely suffers the most.
For sure.
I think Guy looks good, and I think, Mr. Terrific with his, the fair play on his sleeves. I think it looks great.
Mhm.
And then she was just also kind of there. Yeah. They're gonna have to reuse her in something else soon
Well, she's in
and
Peacemaker,
really.
so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, wait. Does she do
we don't know.
a
I mean,
lot?
we've only
I
seen the
remember I
one
remember that.
trailer, but she's in Peacemaker season 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
because her and Guy Gardner are like interviewing Peacemaker Chris at one
I
point.
remember
So
that, but that trailer read to me like that might be it.
yeah, I don't
So
know.
I
That
don't
might be
know.
a one-off joke, but maybe she'll get something. Maybe she won't. I Isabella Merced is certainly not like such a big name that she couldn't be in a TV show. I mean, John Cena's right there. You know what I mean? So like, I wouldn't be surprised. I will say another thing that I'm like confused about with her character. Not that it matters, but it was something that was like on my mind because I did. So when I wrote a pitch for a Wonder Woman movie and I put Hawk Girl in it,
Hmm.
so I
Hmm.
had
Hmm.
many thoughts about like how to portray this character.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the things that I was like, oh, well, what do I do about the wings? And this was something that was confusing for me is that she does have like full, like feathery wings. They're not like weird or magical or anything like that. But then in some scenes they just like don't exist. And it doesn't, she's wearing like very tight clothing. It's not a situation like a maximum ride situation where she's like folding them in tight on her back or something to hide them. Like she just doesn't have them in some scenes. And I'd like to know like what that is. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but it was something that I noticed and I was like, that's weird. You don't need to tell me what that is, but I am curious.
Yeah. I would
Like I would
also be
like to
curious
know.
to see how that works. What did you think of Metamorpho?
I here I'm 50-50 on Metamorpho. I'm very mixed on him. I think I love that actor. I don't think he was good in this. I think his last scene was good. I don't like the voice effect that he's doing and making himself sound like a weak nerd. I think that that is a weird choice for Metamorpho.
They
That to me is not what
definitely
this character is. I
they
think.
definitely played him goofier than I would have thought they were going
For
to.
sure. And I think he'll get more confident over time. Obviously, when we first find him, he's like in a prison being held against his will so that his kid doesn't get murdered. And so like I understand that he's in like an emotional state there. The voice he's doing I don't love. And then also I think the first time that I don't know. He there's one bit where they bring in this character Malai, who is like a friend of Superman's, and Lex Luthor executes him in front of Superman while
Yeah.
Metamorpho is holding kryptonite to him so that he can't break out of this prison.
Yeah.
And because Metamorpho is being held against his will, blah blah blah, he has to do this so that they don't kill the baby again.
Yeah.
But there's a bit where like it's close in on Clark's face and he's crying a little bit, but then you hear like some kind of like, in my opinion, sort of overacting sobbing, and then it like pans out and you see that it's Metamorpho crying, and I do think that the acting in that scene for him was pretty bad. I didn't like that. I think that that just felt very hammy in a way that I was not happy with.
Sure.
And that unfortunately was like one of the first scenes with that character, and so it really colored like my opinion on him. I think I think
Yeah.
when he shows up again at the end in Jarampur, I was much more on board with his character, and I assume that that's going to continue to be the trajectory because he's going to show up again. Like he's a fun character, and James Gunn is a friend of Anthony Carrigan, so like he is going to show up again.
Yeah.
But I think his introduction was very weak. I think it was really bad, actually.
Um, I think there's I'm gonna call it a problem that I had with the whole movie, and it's kind of has to do with the fact that Metamorpho's just there, and we don't get a lot of background on that.
Yeah.
Is this is very much not chapter one.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This
We
is
we started in the middle.
we're coming in the middle of this huge expansive universe where a lot of shit is already established, which inherently is nothing wrong with that. Like we want
No.
to tell the story in this middle, and we jump right into the action. We've got all these characters because we don't need to establish anybody because they're already here. Yeah, I get that, and that's cool.
Yes.
But coming from someone who, you know, you want me to start reading a series of books. Well, I'm going to start at book number 1. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That was, I kept having that feeling throughout this movie where like there's a shot where Metamorpho, after he's escaped and before he's like reconvened and helped with the invasion thing at the end, he's just like in some motel with a person, with a lady.
Right. Presumably the
I,
mother of his son.
I guess, but like I don't I don't know his situation. I
So
don't know his deal.
that is a weird situation because so when all those trailers were coming out, my assumption was that the girl in the pink dress next to him was his wife. His wife is the daughter of Simon Stagg in the comic books, at least.
Okay.
And so I was assuming that that was his wife and that they were holding her because we didn't know about baby Joey yet.
Right.
And I assumed that they were holding her there for the exact same reason that they ended up holding baby Joey.
Let's
But
let's go ahead.
instead, that
Yeah.
character was like an ex-girlfriend of Lex Luthor's who wrote a bad blog post about him, so he threw her in Supermax.
Yeah.
I also hated that joke, by the way, where like he's Metamorpho turns and is trying to break them out. Is trying to help, like he like makes the sun so that Superman can heal up, and then
Yeah.
the two people on either side of them are like trying to narc on them. Like I get
Yeah.
that it's like a funny bit maybe, but I'm also like, what's your goal here? Like he's not gonna fucking let you out. Like you know who Lex Luthor is. He just shot a dude in front of you who for the crime of knowing Superman. Like he's not gonna let you out of prison. Like you're not gonna curry favor by turning in Superman. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I didn't like that part either. I didn't read it as a joke. I read it as
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how to read it. Just people panicking, I guess. But I didn't like it. That would have been a good moment of like all these political prisoners because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Uh,
I, I have
they
more to say
they
about
should
that,
have
but go
like
on.
felt some camaraderie behind Superman, but there wasn't any there, which is weird.
Yeah. I was expecting that to be more of like a prison for metahumans, because that's what they introduce it as. And then we
Mhm.
don't see any other metahumans in there. We see political dissidents and Lex Luthor's ex-girlfriend. Like I was fully like this is a James Gunn movie. I was fully expecting we were going to pan by and there was going to be some like Z-list metahuman stuck in a cube back there. You
Mhm.
know, and I do actually still suspect that we'll probably see that in the future. I think that there's going to be like, oh, this character's backstory is that he used to be in that prison, he broke out. Like that's gonna happen. I feel like there's a very high possibility of that.
Sure.
But it's weird to me that we didn't get that. I don't know. I do not know.
Let's talk about the baby.
Yeah, the baby. I don't. The baby felt pointless to me because again, I was
This is
like, you could have just done the wife. It would have been the same thing. I
hands down my least favorite part
I don't think
of
he
the
looked.
movie.
The baby doesn't look good. And also serves
No.
basically no purpose to the movie other than giving Metamorpho a reason to make kryptonite. And I don't know. And they're selling toys of him, but he's like not an important part of the movie at all. He's like
No.
he's a baby shaped MacGuffin kind of for like one
He's a
scene.
he's a baby. Superman grabs the baby and then has to fight a bunch of guys, and they
That might be
fall
my
into
least
a
favorite
weird
scene actually.
pixely Minecraft river. I think that's definitely my least favorite scene.
Yeah,
You were
that scene
correct.
felt very for some reason like very Spy Kids, like later Spy Kids movies to me.
Ooh,
Does that make sense? Am
okay.
I crazy to say
That's
that?
a little harsh, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna stop you.
I liked all the characters involved individually, except the baby. Liked all the characters individually, but I think that scene was just really weird. And then I was also like, because he's getting so they're in this like river that's doing QB shit, and I do think I know why that's the case. And as an aside, so at the end of the movie, he knocks not Bizarro. Well, it is Bizarro, but he knocks the clone of himself into the black hole, and we've seen the black
Yeah.
hole like eating up all these like anti-proton, whatever the fuck they call that river, and it's all like very cubey. And Bizarro famously lives on a square-shaped planet that's called like what is like Earth spelled backwards. And so I'm like,
Sure.
oh, we're gonna like maybe at some point in the future see that like all that shit went through the black hole and now it's become this cube world. And
Definitely.
so I was like, oh, okay, that's a very James Gunn thing that would happen.
Yeah.
But
So
I think that's a very weak scene because it's like Superman is weak, so he can't fly out of the river for some reason. Metamorpho is saying that he can't hold the baby when he's transformed, but then he's shooting out tentacles to grab everybody to like try and pull them out. And then Crypto's there too, and he's just kind of there. And then they get out because Superman blows real hard. And I was like, I think that what they were trying to do there was like, oh, it's a combination of things. It's him using his super breath to like blow them, but also it's Metamorpho pulling and it's Crypto pulling. I think that's what they were trying to do, but it didn't look like that. It just looked like Superman was able to blow hard enough to beat the strength of a black hole. And I'm like, that's a bit much for me. I didn't care for that. I think that's
to be
stupid.
honest, I definitely read it as Superman was able to blow hard enough to escape a black hole. That's
because that's how it
came
looked
across to me.
Yeah, I think that is what it was supposed to be, is that everyone was pulling together. And again, maybe this would have been a place where like Mr. Terrific could have shown up, but here we are.
So maybe yeah, because Metamorpho is holding on tight and he's holding on to Crypt. You're right. Okay, and then like just able to blow enough to get out of the gravitational thing, and then
by our powers
then
combined,
they fly away. Okay, that
I think that's what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't look like it.
In that moment, that's not how it seemed. You're right.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That is probably my least favorite scene in the whole movie. It's like the one that whole area I think would be like the one part of the movie where I'm like, maybe this part is actually kind of bad. Everything else I'm like, this is either amazing or great or good. That is the one section of the movie where I'm like, I don't know about this, guys.
Yeah,
there's a bit too much going on here.
What else from this movie did we fucking hate? Let's see.
Not much. That really is kind of it.
Yeah, again, my biggest thing is just there's a lot of parts throughout it where Lex is like, we created a pocket dimension because we're smart enough to do that.
But I will say, I'm thrilled.
We cloned a guy, and then Superman, even like the opening text is like, Superman did this 3 weeks ago. And I was like, oh.
Oh, that is another one of my complaints. I remembered one, but you finish your thing.
Just like, I understand. I've already said, I can't stress enough how much I get that people, like, we don't need a Superman origin story. Mm-hmm. We don't need to see him coming to the planet. We don't need to see him growing up in Smallville, because we've seen it and we get it.
Right.
But it's just like, this is, and I'm not counting Creature Commandos, because yes, that's the first thing we've done in the DCU, but it's an animated TV series that is more of a sequel to the Suicide Squad than it is a first step in this universe to me.
Yeah, so, I don't think anyone truthfully considers Creature Commandos to be the start of this universe.
As our first step into this world, I felt like a student at parts, not the whole thing, but at parts, I felt like a student coming to a new school halfway through the school year. I'm like, okay, everyone already knows each other, and I don't know what's going on here. I don't know the vibes yet.
Yeah, that wasn't going to be my point, but I do agree with that. I think I don't necessarily need a Superman origin story. We've seen it 100 times, and I feel like everyone in the fucking world knows what Superman's origin story is. Like, you could hint at certain things and be like, this is how we're changing aspects of it. Like, if you wanted to do the Jor-El's a dickhead thing, like, show that.
Jor-El is Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, like, I'm fine with not seeing the pod crash and like all of this stuff. Although I would have liked to have seen Ma and Pa Kent a little bit more, I think.
I get all that.
But I think you're absolutely right. Like, there are several of these characters who I would have liked to seen their origin story, and which is not to say we can't go back and get it later. But like, I would love to get Mr. Terrific's origin story. People don't know who the fuck Mr. Terrific is or Metamorpho. Hawkgirl
Right.
might not necessarily need one, but I would certainly like to
Maybe
see it.
maybe they played Hawk Girls like we didn't get a lot of details on her. They kept it close to the chest. Maybe that's because they do hope to do something with her and Hawkman in a thing
I mean,
later
she's
eventually.
definitely going to be like, I think, a major player going forward.
Would
I
hope
think
so.
of those of the Justice Gang, she's the one. She is the name there that holds the most cachet, I think, and
And
so
I
they will
and I
use more of her.
I don't need Guy Gardner's origin story because he's just a dickhead who became a Green Lantern. And
Yeah,
how does that work? Well, you can watch Lanterns because I'm pretty sure that's going to be John Stewart's origin story, and we can assume that we know how everyone else got their
yeah.
rings.
I mean, there's some like stuff
Um,
with Guy Gardner's family that I think is done really well in certain comic books that I would like to see, but I don't need it. You know?
mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm. um, but like, where did Lex get that kaiju?
yeah.
This is a superficial question.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It
matter, but I
really
do agree.
doesn't.
I also thought because he starts small, Otis and the guy who I think is James Gunn's like one of his personal friends or something because he doesn't seem like
Yeah,
he's an actor.
yeah.
They open up a cage that has like little baby kaiju in it, and he runs off. He's like, "That's the distraction. Like that's pretty small." And then Otis says like, "He'll get bigger." And obviously
Yeah.
he does. I thought that was going to be the solution, is they were going to find out like how he got bigger and like maybe he had drank water or something and he got wet and he got big like a fucking gremlin. And so
Mhm.
they just had to dry him out with salt or something. I thought that was going to be the solution, but instead we just blew up his stomach. We just blew him up.
Yeah, well, that's an okay thing as far as like Superman goes, where he the only reason he hasn't like taken down this kaiju by himself before the rest of the people show up
Yeah.
is uh he's trying to find a non-lethal way to contain it. Like he even says, he's like, I thought we could find some sanctuary to put it on, or find someone who can like euthanize it like humanely or something. And Mr. Terrific is like, come the fuck on, dude. He just blows up his stomach.
Yeah. Which I don't
Uh,
love, but I'm not against it. I did think, this is me being a Superman nerd and thinking too much about it. I did think that it was going to be something, cuz and he even says it. He makes a joke about like, oh, I was going to put it in like we could put it in a space zoo or some shit. And I did think it was going to
yeah,
be like the start of his like menagerie of lost creatures that he has like at the
yeah,
Force of Solitude. I did think that that was going to be. I assumed that that's what the ending of this was going to be, and so yeah, it
mhm.
was like a little bit of subversion of expectations in a way that I didn't necessarily hate, not like in a Ryan Johnson sort of way.
Right.
Um,
It's just like a Superman has his way of doing things, and other heroes don't have the patience for it. It doesn't make Superman is still like morally and inherently in the right there.
Correct. Yeah,
Uh, and so yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. What I did have a problem with Guy Gardner stabbing that thing's eye a bunch of
that
times.
was. I had a visceral reaction to that. I was like,
I heard your
I
visceral
was like,
reaction right next to me. Yeah.
um, but yeah. So I didn't necessarily. I thought that was fine. I didn't necessarily love it. I think they do a great job in that scene of like showing Superman taking care of all of the people of Metropolis. Like he's making sure everybody's safe. He's making sure to like try and minimize the like destruction. Like he's very clearly like catching the kaiju and stopping it from falling on buildings. He's like moving it so
He,
it falls in the park instead.
he even
He's
saved a
he
squirrel.
saved a squirrel, he saved a dog. Like he's doing all this. Like that is all of the shit that I hear people saying that they like wanted. That they were like, I want the moment from the Superman movie where he gets the cat out of the tree, and like we definitely got that. Like
Yeah.
check. If that was a box you were looking to check.
Yeah.
And so I do think overall I love that scene. I wish the resolution to it had been different, but it's fine. It is what it is. Um, the other negative that I have lost again. So I don't remember what it was.
Uh, Jimmy Olsen's a major player.
I actually love that.
No, I absolutely do too.
His relationship with Eve Tessmacher is hilarious, and I love that it gives Eve like impetus and like reason for being in the movie, because
Yeah.
you spend so much of the movie she's just like taking selfies and you're like, oh, this dumbass, like she's just here to be hot, like she's just being kept around. But then she sends, and that's to be very clearly intentional, because that's how Jimmy feels about her, at least at first too, because she's like, oh, I have all the information you need to she's dating Lex, but she's also like wanting to date Jimmy, but she can't because Lex will put her in super prison. And so
Yeah.
she's like afraid of him, whatever. So at one point she says she's going to send him the information to like put Lex away or whatever. and she sends him just like a bunch of selfies, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
come the fuck on," which I thought was hilarious. And
Yeah.
but then he like zooms in, and you can see that in the background of all the selfies, she's like taking selfies with like contracts and maps that show like
Mhm.
what Lex's plans are and all this shit. And I think that's so smart of her because like she acts dumb, and I think maybe
Yeah.
she is a little dumb,
She's
but
definitely she's got some dumbness to her,
there's definitely some
but
dumbness to her. But I think that's perfect because she's just taking selfies. Like Lex would never think twice about that because he
no.
underestimates everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I think that that's like that is such a smart use of that character. I loved that. I love that so much. She's honestly one of the she comes across to me in this similar to what was her fucking name, Madison or whatever from what was that, She-Hulk? Was that She-Hulk?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Where it's like this character doesn't matter at all, but I have attached to them because they are funny and they did a thing I liked, and that for me
Yeah.
is even this. I think she's great. She's probably one of my favorite characters in this movie, which is crazy. I would
Yeah.
never have thought that I was going to come out being like she's one of the ones that I was most impressed by of all fucking characters. But I also love Jimmy. I think he's great too.
I like Jimmy. The whole Daily Planet. Like, there's a bunch of people that work at the Daily Planet in this that are names from the comics and
Mhm.
stuff. They don't. They're really just background players, and they fit that role perfectly fine.
Right.
Uh,
I would very happily watch a Daily Planet spinoff show.
yeah,
Happily.
of
I
course.
would watch that tomorrow.
I really liked Perry White in this.
I Perry White I was take or leave on. I loved Lois obviously and Jimmy obviously.
Uh-huh.
But I think of the like background Daily Planet characters, the one that I loved the most is gonna be Steve Lombard or Lombardi, whatever his last name is.
Right, Lombard. Yeah.
I laughed so fucking hard when they get in that the T craft or T shipped or whatever the fuck it is,
He
and
just
he's like,
doesn't
"Where's
have a
my
seat.
seat?" And they just like, and he falls over. I don't know why. His react or like when he's walking away and he's like, "Put Princess on the phone." Yes, she will care. Cats know the sound of your voice or whatever. Like that's really funny. It's a good bit. I love that.
I do think it's really funny, specifically the him not having a seat in the terrific
Yeah.
craft.
I will say, I wish that they hadn't gotten into the T sphere or whatever the hell it is, because I think that to me feels like something got cut where they were going to do something more important than just like fly in this thing and write a report, because they could have done that anywhere. Like they could have been on the other side of the river writing it as the thing was coming to them, like the rift was opening up towards them
Sure.
or whatever, and that might have been like a more impactful
They don't
ticking
abandon
clock.
their
Yeah,
stations
if they had just
until
stayed at the Daily Planet, I think that honestly might have even hit harder than like, well, we're
yeah.
just gonna get in this ball and we're gonna fuck off. Like I didn't
But
love that. It felt like they
what
were supposed to do something else originally in the script, and then that got cut. Like that's
what I was gonna say is what I love about him not having a seat is it comes right after a line where Perry says like, "How many people fit in that thing?" And Lois is like, "I don't know, 5 or 6," and he counts them up and he's like, "All right, Lombard, you come too." And then she was just wrong.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, he fits, but there's nowhere for him to be.
I mean, he survived. He's all right. He'll get to see his cats again. Um, I want to talk about the positives. We're at like an hour 40 on this thing. I might have to do a lot of editing to trim this down. Um,
Trim out all the
but
political stuff.
trim all the political stuff out. We don't want to get canceled, I guess. No,
Yeah.
but I do want to get to the positives. I think I don't know if this is my favorite Superman movie. It's definitely top two, but I will say I think this is the best Superman. I think this is
The best.
I think this is the best Superman. Like the character Superman. I think this is the best Superman.
Hmm,
Like
okay.
I honestly don't even see. I
He
don't think it's close. I think that he is head and shoulders above everybody else.
he clears. Uh, I like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
He clears Henry Cavill Superman. He clears Brendan Routh Superman. I mean, I think the one where it's a point of contention is Christopher Reeve, and it's always going to be because he's always going to be the blueprint.
Yeah.
There's just so many
I think this.
moments.
Yeah.
I really liked Corn Sweat in this for sure,
Mhm.
and he's definitely up there. Does he surpass? I don't know if I'm ready to say that, but he's really, really good.
I I think it's the best version because they show him being imperfect more than anybody else. And I think
He is.
that
Yeah.
that is the pinnacle to me of proving like no, this is just like he is human. He's Kryptonian, sure, but he's not. Like he was raised in Kansas. He's a human person. The fact that he does sort of like to a lesser extent like loses his temper at a couple points, and like he's getting caught up in like social media stuff and getting upset about like hashtag super shit, or
Uh-huh.
like he's having a very real relationship with this version of Lois where like they are arguing about stuff but like they're clearly in love. It like it feels so human and so real in a way that I feel like so many of the other ones don't. like
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
the relationship between Christopher Reeve and his Lois are like it is this like cookie cutter perfect, everything is perfect, we're in love the whole time, everything's great, like nothing goes wrong sort of thing, and that's fine. But I feel like this feels like it is just so much more real and impactful. This romance is amazing. The chemistry
Hmm.
between David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan is fire. That is the reason to watch this movie. Every scene where they're
That's
together is the best scene of the movie.
definitely,
um I
definitely.
would love like that interview scene. I would watch five more of those. You could have made that twice as long and I would have still loved it. um and I also want to say, because we already said it, she is the best Lois Lane in these movies.
Hmm.
um and I think there's this like really underrated moment, I think, where okay, so this thing comes out where Lex Luthor like reveals the second half of this message, and it's like, oh, he's gonna like collect a harem and he's gonna take over the planet and all this shit, and she doesn't leave him or whatever, but she goes and she talks to him and she has this like very real conversation where like she knows that he's not what that message is saying, like she knows that,
Yeah.
but you can tell, I think, that there still is a little bit of like uncertainty, there is a little bit of like she is uncomfortable. um but then he goes out and he has, first of all, the best line in the movie when he's leaving that scene and he's like, I gotta go get my dog. And she's like, you're gonna risk your life for a dog? And he's like, yeah, and it's not even a good dog. But he's out there and he's scared, and I'm gonna go get him.
Yeah.
And that is the best, that might be my favorite line spoken by a Superman in a movie, period. I think that
Yeah.
is
No,
so
that's really
great. That
great.
is an amazing moment. And then he goes out and he does, and he gets his ass beat, and he comes back with kryptonite poisoning, and she has to take him to Smallville to heal up, and he's like with Ma and Pa Kent in this
That
amazing scene that I
I
love so
think
much.
I think that's the best use of the Kents, other
Certainly in
than
the movies.
origin,
Yeah.
other than origin story, which we got to do all
Yeah.
that. But that's the best use of the Kents we've ever seen in film
Certainly
before.
in the movies. I think no one's going to top Annette O'Toole and Jonathan, what's
Sure,
his last name?
of course.
Um, from Dukes of Hazzards. I don't remember the actor's last
Yep.
name for some reason, but
Dukes
you know what I'm talking about. The
Dukes of
Smallville Mom
Hazzard.
Pa Kent, they are the best Mom
Hmm.
Pa Kent we'll probably ever get. They're phenomenal. But she takes him back to Smallville, and there's this really great moment where, Ma's like taking care of him, and Jonathan's like touching his head, and he's like, is my boy going to be okay?
Hmm.
And
So I would say that yes, the romance and the
yeah.
relationship
Well, hold on,
and
real
the
fast. Let me finish
fighting.
this because
Oh
I
my
wasn't I
god.
wasn't done with the idea. Because the scene that I think is underrated is that when she turns and says to Jonathan, she's like, "Yeah, he's gonna be okay." That's the moment, I think, where all of that doubt of like, is he actually here to conquer? Is he gonna do all these bad things? That's where that all goes away, because she sees him with his parents and she's like, "No, he's exactly who I thought he was.
Yeah.
Like he is he
That's
is he is not this alien Superman. He is Clark Kent, and he's a real guy, and he's a great guy. Uh,
definitely.
and I'm gonna kiss the shit out of him at the end of this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That I think
Uh
that is the best. Like that is such an amazing moment. I love that so much.
the the relationship between Lois and Clark in this is very much the heart of the movie, and I think the scene at the Kent farm where Clark talks to Pa Kent is the soul of the movie. That's really how I feel coming out of it.
It's really good. It's so good. I The heart of this movie is unparalleled. It
Mhm.
is the key of this movie. Is just the emotional
It's
core.
it's what because we spent time talking about like, I didn't care for this. I thought this was weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Whatever. But the heart, as we've just discussed, is what carries past all of that. All the little nitpicks
Yeah.
that doesn't really
Easily.
matter. Yeah, good Superman movie.
Um,
Oh yeah, Supergirl shows up.
Supergirl shows up. I think that's hilarious. She shows up
Yeah,
at the end in what probably should have been the credit scenes. But she shows up. It turns out Crypto is her dog because he's at one point says like, "Oh, it's not even my dog. It's a foster situation or something."
yeah.
And he, she shows up and she's drunk as shit. She just came back from some planet with a red sun so that she could get drunk because they're when they're under the yellow sun, their metabolism is such that they can't get drunk. Uh,
Mhm.
it, and she's walking away with Crypto, and she's like, "Thanks for watching my dog, bitch." And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
It's really good.
It's like I
Good.
love this girl. It does raise a couple of questions, because it's like, okay, so she's older than him typically in the comics, but then like time shit happens and she ends up being younger,
Yeah.
whatever. So I do have questions about like, hey man, did you know about that second half of that message? You know about that? What's your feelings on that? Like, I'm gonna need an answer to that question in her movie, I think. Um,
There's been versions where she's older because he's a baby, obviously, but she's still like a kid
well, she's
when she
definitely still a
gets
kid.
sent
I mean,
away.
she's Millie Alcock, who's like
So
19.
Rick
Yeah.
Flag Sr. didn't really need to be in this.
No, he didn't do a ton. I think that he's like an interesting sort of like carryover character, but it I don't know, didn't really do much for me, his placement in this. I think that I don't have a ton else to say about this movie. I think that we've kind of said all the major points. I'm sure that, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, oh, in this scene, and there was this scene, and this was great too. There were so many like little things about this movie that I love. I think we've covered all the major points. Was there anything else major that you can think of that you want to talk about real fast?
Um, no,
Yeah.
I think we basically covered
Oh,
all the stuff.
I didn't say the part of Crypto that I didn't like. I don't like that
Oh,
he beat up Lex at the end.
yeah, I didn't
I think that
think
was
you
one
would.
step too far.
That I think the reason for that is Lex, as mentioned, is so evil in this.
He is. He's a total piece of shit.
Like really evil and frothing at the mouth
And look, and he was still doing a fucking land deal.
and yes, I did pick up on that. And Superman would never just smack Lex Luthor around. Earlier in the movie, it is implied that like no, not implied, flat out said that Superman took the the Israeli president and threw him against a cactus.
Stuck him on a cactus. She's like, and it's during the interview, and Lois is like, "Oh, so you tortured him?" He's like, "No, the spikes were like this big." it's
I don't know if Superman would have done that.
I maybe
It's
not, but it
whatever.
was really funny. I think it's
Sure.
okay.
But yeah, so other than that, he wouldn't have like smacked Lex Luthor around just to prove him a point, just to punish him for being an evil guy.
Yeah,
So it was either we just take Lex to jail or the audience gets some catharsis out of Bad Dog Crypto just mauling his ass for a minute.
yeah, I get that. And the weird thing is, like, I also think that I even would have liked it if it was like Hawk Girl or Guy who did it. But for some
Sure.
reason, it being Crypto, where I'd already gotten like kind of my fill of that dog by
A
the
lot of
end of it,
crypto.
is like, I was just like, it felt weird because part one of the side plots was like, oh, people are losing trust in him because whatever, whatever. And I think the idea that he has a dog that he can't control and beat the shit out of Lex Luthor is like not a great look for him. Also, it's like a super powerful dog that he can't control and might just like attack somebody. Like I don't know. I'm definitely good with Lex getting his ass beat. I just didn't necessarily love the way it happened.
Sure.
Although the bit of him trying to run to the portal last second and getting shoulder checked into the wall, 10 out of 10. Oh my god. So
Oh yeah,
good.
I did like that. That's a great moment actually, where he's like, "I need to get out of here before he shows up." All without a word, he's like, "I got to get out of here because he's
Yeah.
gonna be here," and then boom, he's right there. That's
Followed,
great.
followed immediately by the code for the thing is I don't need the code. I'm Mr. Fucking Terrific.
Sit your ass down. Yeah, that was pretty great.
uh,
Um, yeah, all in all, good stuff. I will say that I think James Gunn needs to look inside himself and redefine what he considers an after credit scene. Now
yeah, the
listen,
credit scenes were pointless.
I don't need after credit scenes. I really don't. I don't give a shit.
Yes.
Like put it all in the
Yeah.
movie and then I can go home. That's fine. But like this comic book culture now has this like precedent where every movie needs after credit scenes, and then James Gunn himself says there's 2 after credit scenes. Now I knew because I know James Gunn. I'm like, okay, they're probably jokes. Now I would like one not to be a joke because like we're setting up a universe here, but we've already done the Supergirl bit, so whatever. Who cares? Um, one of them was just Superman sitting with his dog, like back to camera.
You know what that should have been?
It's not a scene.
I think here's what I think.
It's a screensaver.
James
Go
Gunn,
ahead.
I know you're listening to this because me and you, close personal friends, we both grew up in Missouri, so legally we have to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he actually grew up like right down the street from where I grew up, but like obviously
Mm-hmm.
earlier. It's insane. Anyway, um, I think what you should have done is you swap the Supergirl scene and the Mr. Terrific scene because I do like the Mr. Terrific scene. I think it was funny. You swap
Yeah.
that, so you put the Mr. Terrific scene in at the end. It's like one little quick second. You do it when they're like cleaning up, and then have Lois walk over to him and be like, "You want to go make out?"
Yeah.
And then the Supergirl scene becomes the credit scene, where it's like setting up for the next thing because Supergirl's already finished filming. Which is what the credit scenes are supposed to be. I feel is like set up for future projects.
I mean, that's yeah. It's kind of what we.
And then him sitting there with Crypto watching the Earth.
Mhm.
Just take that, right click on it, send it back, and just put it behind the credits as they're going.
Behind the credits.
Just
Yeah.
put it back there and have it just Crypto can like roll around a little bit and like lick his face, and you show the Earth like slowly turning, and that's the credits. So you go. You don't need to cut away from the credits to show 2 seconds of him sitting down. Like you don't need that. That's not a scene. But all in all, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I do think it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think that I, like, on a critical level, could rate it higher than that because it does have a lot of problems. But I do think it is, emotionally, for me at least, more than the sum of its parts. I think that it comes off as, like, a better movie than it maybe literally is. Which is probably, there's going to be people who hate this movie who are going to be like, why won't you just say the movie's bad? It's like, well, because I enjoyed it. That's what it was. Is I had a lot of fun, and I think it was a fun movie. And I will say, I think this is kind of exactly the movie I personally needed right now. I was having this sort of like internalization recently because I rewatched like Superman 1, where I was like, I grew up a DC kid watching the cartoons and all that. And I think when I was a kid, my favorite superhero was Batman. And I think that might still be true.
Yeah.
But I think where I am in sort of my own personal emotional journey right now, I think the hope and the optimism and the love that comes with the character of Superman, like that is what I need right now. That is what I want and what I crave. And this movie gave it to me, and I'm so happy to have gotten it.
Do you remember the first promo image we got of Corn Sweat in the suit, and it was him like putting the boot on, and then that like interdimensional thing is floating around shooting beams at the city,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Why isn't he helping?"
Yeah.
Well, it turns out from his own mouth,
They
didn't need his help.
Yeah. Which I do love, actually, because I feel like that's also sort of an answer for every future movie when he doesn't show up and fix the problem himself in 2 seconds. Is you can just be like, we've established that, like, no, they've got it.
My favorite part of that bit was like, because they're having a very real heart-to-heart conversation, and you could just see a big green baseball bat flinging around in the background, bonking off this thing's head.
Yeah, I was looking at that thing, and I was like, I don't know how much help Hawkgirl is being in this fight, to be honest with you.
So this shit just happens. That's the universe we're in. This shit just happens.
This shit just happens constant.
Yep.
Well, if you guys loved Superman or hated Superman, let us know in the comments. We need that engagement. And also, we love you. Thank you for staying until the end of the podcast. You can like and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. Those are the places that we are. You can follow the show on Twitter at rsr_pod. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Skyler8bit.
Thank you very much, everybody. And until next time, we'll see you around.
Ask your local Gen Z kid if he knows who John Williams is and what the Superman score is.
If you don't know what the Superman theme is, I think you're crazy. Okay.
Well, watch this movie and you do now.
You do now. Bye, everybody. Love you.
Everything feels right. Let's play, take a trip.